Well, this is it. This is the last one that I'm doing from here. I got a little bit more video to film, but this is it. I guess the new thing in the news right now is the game developer behind Wukong. They've had their offices vandalized over the claims that they are sexist to women in China. This is a very strange one. It's something I've spoken about in the past when this first kind of arose, back when IGN put out an article stating they need to do more narrative design for the game. You know, a game where you're playing the Monkey King, the king that goes around as a monkey. It's not a situation where you're dealing with normal humans, you're dealing with gods. It's supposed to be this new style of Dark Souls, kind of like on the same level of Elden Ring. But the journalists behind IGN, of course, they put out this article on them saying that they're sexist, all this stuff, for mistranslations of what's going on. But their offices, I'll probably find one of the screenshots that we've seen online, their offices got vandalized. And apparently when you translate this stuff, it comes back as a racial slur. Now, the account in general, I've tried searching a little bit about them. I can't understand Japanese, so it makes things very difficult, especially when you're using Google Translate. Google Translate is not very accurate in the cases of, like, say, Twitter. It comes up a very different meaning, and you've got to get a little bit nuance between it. But it really does seem that this stuff it's escalating, and that's not what we want out of game industries. If there's actual stuff going on in the industry where, like, these devs are not hiring women, well, you look at them going out to one of the cons, and one of the cons had, I believe it was 4 women at the con promoting the game. So you got to sit there and go, well, are they promoting women? Are they actually doing stuff for women in gaming? And it really does seem they are. And that's where the false narrative on all of this has kind of bubbled down to. And once again, we have this situation bubbling up all over again over Wukong, saying that they need to do better, when in fact they're a Chinese company, they're an easternized company trying to put out a game, surprisingly enough, that looks very good. Now, is it Tencent or NetEase? One of the two major ones are involved with this game from China. And, you know, when it comes to Chinese-based games, you have the Chinese Communist Party, of course, behind it, because they have a government that is overreaching and over-controlling on these things. But if they can produce a game without the westernized values, with ignoring the Western world, then they're going to succeed. This is the same thing we see with Japanese anime, the different culture of these things. But it's just really a shame to have to sit there and talk about these things time and again when it's all over. It's all over again and again. You have companies like Sweet Baby Inc., which is a Canadian-based company. Hello, Canadians, because that's where we are today. They sit there and they tried to actually bully this company, and to the course of $7 million. Now, there was some rumor, that is a rumor out there. Some people have said that that's unfounded and not necessarily true. But you know that someone had something going on behind here, and we know that Kim Belair of Sweet Baby Inc. has mentioned these types of things in the past at some of her talks at GDC, the Game Developers Conference. So where does this really take us? Honestly, when it comes to game development, video games, movies, Hollywood, make the movie you want to make. Don't go running to shills, or don't go running to people to sit there and have them tell you that, oh, if you make this, people are going to see you in a bad light. You're going to be seen in a bad light because you're not doing enough for social justice. It never was about social justice. It's a marketing decision at this point. And a lot of these decisions that these companies are making just don't do very well. Well, and now we have video games laying everyone off. They lay everyone off because the industry is being rejected. The marketplace or the public rejects the game, rejects the idea of it. You know, people are saying it's a boycott when you have Sweet Baby Inc. involved. At least with Wukong, they've turned that away and aside. They don't need that. I don't even understand why someone would think, some Western culture would sit there and try to say, okay, we're going to go to the Eastern culture, we're going to go to China, and they're going to do what we tell them to, because if they don't, then we're going to blackmail them. No, that's not how this works. You got nothing here. But of course, look where we are now. Now we have unfounded stuff coming out where they're saying that the company was sexist. Well, it's Chinese based. They see things very different than the Western world. The Western world might see it as one thing, but the Chinese, they're not going to see it that way. It's not the same Westernized culture overall of these things, and that's why you see such a difference here. But of course, that's also why you're seeing the journalists and the arguments against them going through. The journalists say, oh, hey, they're doing these things that we don't have any proof of, or that are poorly translated. And once again, now they get their offices sprayed up and vandalized, and it's absolutely disparaging to see. It's really too bad that this is the culture that's being hailed, the next big thing when it comes to video games and culture and movies. Now, if you do things the wrong way, you have to go through the struggle sessions of the game journalists that are going to put you through the ringer, and then you have the people that are going to go out there and spray paint your place if you don't do as they say. Really does kind of suit the narrative of like Sweet Baby Inc. and Kim Bel-Air saying, well, we're going to go to the marketing team and we're going to get our way, and if not, you're going to see things in a very, very bad light. That's usually called a shakedown. That's usually what happens with the mafia, and it's absolutely disparaging and needs to stop. If this is going to continue on the international market now, you're going to see a lot more behind the scenes. We're gonna have to see people stand up, and we're gonna have to see people make laws if they're not already there. If they're not already breaking international laws at this case, we need something to change. And that is where a lot of us on YouTube and a lot of us on Twitter and a lot of us in other spaces right now are saying these things need to change. These should not be allowed, because it's not a free market of ideas. It's their way or the highway, and that's what's going on. And that's why it's bad. There's only Siths deal in absolutes. Anyway, I'm your Pride Canadian Phoenix in the Shadow. I'm signing off here from Nova Scotia. Have yourself a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.